Good afternoon, I'm Jordan Thomas. Welcome back, or if you're joining us for the first time, welcome to BlackAtApp. Once again, happy Women's History Month, guys. Today we're going to start off with another update on the David Burke, aka singer David, case involving the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Over the past few months, we've been following this case closely, and we're coming at you with another update, but first, let's recap. As early as 2023, Burke made references to Celeste in his music, posting pictures and live streaming with her. Celeste was allegedly a member of Burke's Discord server, evidenced by a user with the same name, Celeste, whom others in the server refer to as David's girlfriend. In light of the investigation, social media users have looked at David's music videos and lyrics for One More Dance, finding dark themes like violence and death, such as depictions of a person being stuffed into a trunk. On September 3rd, 2025, Los Angeles police were called to an impound lot and towed a car to Hollywood Yard. On September 8th, after reports of a foul odor, LAPD visited the car and discovered a severely decomposed body wrapped in plastic in the trunk of a Tesla. On September 16, 2025, Los Angeles County medical examiner identified the body to be Celeste Rivas Hernandez, aged 15. On September 18th, with a search warrant, LAPD officers searched a $4 million mansion David was renting, seizing a computer. After news of Celeste's body being discovered starts circling the internet, David canceled the remaining dates on his Withered World Tour. From November 15th through the 21st, the LAPD requests and is granted a security hold on the medical examiner's report, sealing all details including the cause of death, until further notice. On the 24th, it was officially classified as a murder investigation. Private investigator Steve Fisher, hired by the rental home's property manager, announced on December 16th that he discovered a burn cage incinerator along with an unused chainsaw in the garage. Recent court filings have named Burke as the prime suspect. As of this month, the investigation remains active and no formal charges have been announced. But as the story continues to develop, we'll keep you guys updated. The women's basketball team had what some would call a disappointing season, finishing 11-19. Jordan Brown caught up with Deja Mitchell to see how she got where she is today.
There's a lot that you have to overcome to just be great at that level, and I think a lot of people overlook that. And I think that there was just another, like I said, another gear in us that we could have achieved if we would have been locked in from the beginning instead of taking like JUCO for granted.
No journey is linear, and for Deja Mitchell's collegiate basketball career, the challenges started before she could even begin.
I had an injury that took me out for a couple of months. I broke my fibula. I had to have surgery. I was out for like 3 months before my senior year, and it was fine because I was able to come back, and then we were doing great.
It's one of the best, women's basketball team in California, Etowanda.
We were undefeated. Like I had a really good team. And then just tearing my ACL on the peak of my season when I'm talking to all these different schools, like Pac-12 schools, like some of my dream schools. And for me to lose that and then also just not be able to like relieve all that stress through basketball for a whole year just made me realize that basketball isn't just who I am, like it's just what I do.
Graduating high school, Mitchell attended St. Mary's University, but after redshirting her freshman year, she transferred to Mount San Antonio College.
There was other like D2s schools that I could have went to, but after like a lot of advisement, they were saying that if my best chance to get back to D1 was to go JUCO.
I started recruiting the California region for JUCO. And it's kind of its own entity, so you kind of have to go and do your research. And I was watching another kid play, and I noticed this tall, 6-foot kid that could rebound, dribble, shoot, and very versatile and do a lot of different things. And it sparked my interest.
Gets past Seguchi, easily feeds Mitchell for two.
And once I, made contact with Mount Sacs coach, he introduced me to Deja, and we've been talking for like a year. Deja was a great kid. Our first conversation was probably like 30 minutes. We just talked about life. It felt like a good vibe.
Well, during my second year, App State was one of the most consistent ones reaching out to me. And I think they were the most genuine, not just checking on me just for basketball, but also checking on my family.
Her same infectious energy, that enthusiasm that she plays with at times in the game, you can obviously see it through the screen. You can see it when you're in the building, you can feel it. And we felt like we needed that jolt of energy on our team.
But even with App State knocking on the door, Mitchell chose to stay another year when they fell short of the state championship.
The talent was there for us to win it all. Like we were predicted #1 seed. I think it took that loss for me to really learn that
Lakewood.
I need to get better and that there's so much more potential in me that I can achieve before moving on.
In the following year, when the Mounties were in the title game, Allura Sharp was in the crowd.
And even my teammates felt it, like they didn't know who she was or where she came from, but she would come to them and like give them high five and just bring her energy. And I feel like she has that same like fire of like that passion that I have. And I saw it that day. So after we won our championship, I told them that this would be my first visit.
Abbott Elementary has been renewed for a 6th season. The show follows 5 teachers, a principal, and the school janitor of an elementary school in West Philadelphia. It's got so many iconic moments in the first 5 seasons, and with Quinta in the writing room, we're sure there's more on the way. You can watch Abbott on Hulu and HBO Max. Award season is come and gone, but what still remains is the excitement over Sinners. The movie took home awards in pretty much every major award show. It won 4 Academy Awards, 2 Golden Globes, and 4 Oscars. Among other awards, Sinners has also become the first ever horror movie to receive an A rating by CinemaScore. Ryan Coogler was asked in an interview if Sinners was the best movie he's ever made, and he responded saying that Sinners was the best movie he could have made at 39 years old. Sinners has proved that black movies can be made without focusing so much on trauma or slavery. Moving to politics, we've talked to you about the SAVE Act, and we've got an update. Congress held a rare Sunday meeting on March 22nd for a number of topics, most notably the SAVE Act. SAVE stands for Safeguard American Voter Eligibility, and it aims to ensure only citizens are registered to vote in elections for federal office. Those who may be affected include married people who change their last name, those without a passport, those who don't have access to their birth certificate, and those who don't have a valid form of ID. This means that of college students. Even those who go to state schools cannot use their school ID as a form of identification. The act, if passed, would make it harder for 21 million Americans to cast their ballots. The primaries are over. Now we're on to the midterms this fall. However, we wanted to shout out 3 incredible black women in politics: Juliana Stratton, Pamela Stevenson, and Robin Kelly. Stratton is the current Lieutenant Governor of Illinois, running for a seat in the U.S. Senate. She's focused on fighting for working families. Representative Stevenson is a retired Air Force colonel and current Kentucky representative seeking a seat in the Senate, hoping to reshape the state's legal structure and combat systematic inequality. Representative Kelly is campaigning to become a U.S. Senator in the state of Illinois, having succeeded the retired Jesse Jackson Jr. in 2013. She's faithfully represented the district for the past 13 years. These 3 women have already been strong figures in their districts. However, their campaigns for Senate seats emphasize the future of black women in the Senate and a higher position in American politics. We wish great luck to these ladies in their ongoing campaigns and in their continued fight to expand female black voices in politics. For this week's episode, we've collaborated with Can't Think Straight, our queer culture show here at App TV. Let's see what they've got for us.
What's up, Blurtler, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about some very special women. In honor of last month, Black History Month, and Pride Month coming up soon, today I've decided to talk about some black queer women.
Not there. Hello? This isn't Can't Think Straight, is it?
No, this is Blurtler.
Oh, okay. Can I sit down for a little bit? I've been walking around the studio all day.
I guess.
Just for a little bit? Okay, thank you. What are you talking about?
Black queer women, actually. I just said that.
Well, you can educate me. How about that?
Sure. Yeah, sure. Starting off with our first, Marsha P. Johnson. She was born in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and from the age of 5 years old began wearing women's clothing. After graduating high school, she moved to Manhattan, where she was often on 42nd Street in Times Square, working at the Child's Restaurant, supplementing her income with sex work and going out in partial drag, firstly going by the name Black Marsha, but eventually adopting the name Marsha P. Johnson, which she's best recognized for. She had stated that Marsha was derived from her nickname Mikey, Johnson was from Howard Johnson's Hotel in Elizabeth, and P stood for Piola. After becoming a drag queen and performing and dressing more femininely in her daily life, she started to undergo feminizing hormone therapy, which led her to state that she had started to live her life as a woman and her goal was to eventually get gender-reaffirming surgery. Marsha was an LGBTQ+ activist and performer, also known by the name Saint of Christopher Street. She is considered an important figure in the LGBTQ+ and transgender rights movement due to her involvement in the Stonewall riots. changing the tides of history by throwing the first brick at Stonewall. The riot started on account of a police raid at the Stonewall Inn in Greenwich Village, where there were attempted arrests of many patrons, including cross-dressers and sex workers, and Marsha herself was frequently denied entry there. After Starr's dissolution in 1973, she began performing with various theater groups in Manhattan, such as the Angels of Light and the Hot Peaches. Once the AIDS pandemic broke out in New York in 1980, she began to care for her friends who were dying from AIDS and engaged in AIDS-related activism, and also petitioned a gay and lesbian non-discrimination bill. Unfortunately, in 1992, her body was discovered in the Hudson River under mysterious circumstances at just 46 years old. After her death, she further became an LGBTQ+ icon, with people giving her many tributes and memorials in the US, like the short film Happy Birthday, Marsha. The next special lady we're going to discuss is Angela Davis. Angela was also a feminist political activist, a scholar, Marxist, and a former Black Panther who came out as lesbian in 1977, becoming a very prominent member in the queer, feminist, and anti-racist movements. Long before this, though, she often connected her works and ideals to queer liberation as she advocated for LGBTQ+ rights. She was a longtime member of the Communist Party USA and a founding member of the Committees of Correspondence for Democracy and Socialism, and is currently active in the Occupy movement and the Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions, aka BDS, campaign. She also founded the African American Agenda 2000, which is a group of Black feminists combating racism, sexism, and homophobia. As of 2020, she is living with her partner Gina Dent, a fellow humanities scholar and intersectional feminist researcher at UC Santa Cruz, and together they have advocated for the abolition of police and prisons and championing the Black liberation and Palestinian solidarity. Fun fact, in 2020, she was listed as the 1971 Women of the Year and in the Times list of the 100 most influential people in the world. Last, but definitely not least, is Megan Thee Stallion, aka Megan Kavan Ruth Pete. Megan was introduced to hip-hop by her mother, Holly Thomas, a rapper known as Hollywood, who often took Megan to her recording sessions, and by the time Megan was 14, she was writing her own raps. Throughout her teens, she would post rap freestyles online and slowly build a following, and in 2016, would go viral for her freestyling rap battle, The Houston Cypher. And after this, she began posting her music to YouTube and SoundCloud. Megan has always integrated her sexuality into her music and public persona, posting in 2020 that she was looking for a girlfriend and describing her ideal type in women. She's also explicitly stating many times how she's attracted to women in songs like Broke His Heart, released in 2020, and in that same year, proudly endorsed the fans' lesbian pride sign during her Hot Girl tour. I think that someone like Megan being unapologetically herself, no matter what comes her way, is extremely inspiring. Not just as a Black person, but as a queer person too. Thankfully, we have so many role models in the LGBTQ+ community to look up to, and we have past icons to thank for their bravery and radical self-acceptance. Thank you so much for joining us today. Blurt out.
That was so awesome. I'm going to do some research of my own, and I think I'm going to come back and give y'all some of my information. Are y'all still going to be here, or? No?
No, you can do that somewhere else. This was really weird.
Right, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you like my notes? Do you like my notes?
Sure.
No? Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Fine, I'll get out. You know what, I'm taking this chair with me.
You actually can't do that.
Oh.
That's
Okay.
property, yeah. Try not to trip on your way out, I guess.
We've got something new for you guys. Juka and Josiah, take it away.
March Madness is officially underway.
The tournament has already delivered some big moments and surprises as teams battle their way through the bracket. The first and second rounds wrapped up with some intense matchups, and now teams are fighting for a spot in the Sweet 16. Focusing on North Carolina teams, it's been a mix of highs and lows. Duke came in strong as a #1 seed and took care of business in the early games. They're still moving on and looking like one of the best teams right now.
On the other hand, UNC had a rough game, falling in a close matchup against VCU, which ended their run earlier than a lot of fans expected. There was also some excitement from in-state programs like High Point University, who pulled off a big upset in the first round and showed that they can compete with top teams. Now Duke is the main North Carolina team still in it, and they're trying to keep the run going. As the tournament continues, the games are only getting bigger and more intense. With all these upsets, there are now 0 perfect brackets left, with only being a week into March Madness.
Thanks so much, guys. That's all for us here at BlackAtApp. I'm Jordan Thomas. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at BlackAtApp. Stay black and stay proud. Have a wonderful day, and don't forget, Happy Women's History Month, guys. Take her easy.